What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and I wanted to do a quick video on the Hayden Panettiere interview. I thought it was a really, really good one. It was good to see her name out there. Good just to kind of get, like, communication, you know what I mean? Whether or not she wanted to talk about the stuff she was experiencing, as a person these last, handful of years or not, it's good to see her out again, and making the news and stuff. But we did get some Kirby-specific stuff. That's the stuff I obviously want to focus on, being, that I cover Scream stuff. We could talk about her personal life separately, but no, I think the stuff that we heard about Kirby is pretty much two things, two small things, but maybe they could mean more than we think. First thing is that she contacted them. Now, she didn't correct the record when the interviewer was trying to ask her, like, so you actually reached out to them. She was going to say that, but Hayden was talking, so she didn't want to interrupt. But that was the story Hayden had told, is that she ended up calling, whether it was Paramount or Radio Silence or, whatever, she called them and asked, you wouldn't happen to want to bring Kirby back, would you? And so that's, I love that. I love the passion from that. I almost wonder, like, well, so they didn't plan on it. So, So, like, organically, Kirby probably wasn't supposed to come back in a Scream 6, but she kind of made it possible. So I'm going to give a lot of credit. In fact, I think anybody should give a lot of credit of Kirbys Return. You give that to Hayden. I wouldn't give almost any credit, maybe the writing, if the writing is good in the movie, but I wouldn't give much credit right now to anybody else. Hayden is the one who kind of went out of her way to reach out and say, like, hey, and by the way, like, I think it's understandable. She's basically been semi-retired. Maybe Radio Silence didn't know if she would even want to act in a movie, you know what I mean? So her reaching out to them, that's a good sign. I think it's a really good sign. That really shows, and the way she, by the way, has talked about Kirby, even in this interview, being, one of the more favorite roles she's ever played, how much she likes Kirby the character, really good. That shows that, I don't know, I'm sure there are many actors and actresses out there that don't really care for the characters they've made before, so it's good to know, even though I think we already kind of knew, it's good to hear it again, I guess, how much she cares about, Kirby as a character. And the second part of it was, she was asked if she would make it past, I think they said, like, the opening kill or the first kill. Now, the wording of these, these journalists, I use that very lightly, the wording of it is never very good, right? Because the way you kind of ask it is like, are you going to survive? Like, are you going to be the opening attack? Or are you going to survive your first attack? Like, the way the question is, it's kind of ambiguous. The way Hayden answers it could be looked at in multiple ways. And again, her answer is, a non-answer. She says she can't answer the question. But she says that fans won't be disappointed. Now, I think you couple that with what Jenna Ortega says. I think the idea that Kirby, could die in, like, the opening scene or something like that, I think that's gone long ago. That went out the window. You can't, what Jenna Ortega said about her, like, redeeming her character. You can't do that in an opening attack, okay? You flat out can't. You can't give the character 5 minutes in the opening, have a cool scene, sure, cool acting, dynamic acting. You can't have that and say that you've redeemed your character. You just can't. So I call BS on that. And then the fact that Hayden is like, well, fans aren't going to be disappointed. I will tell you, I don't think there's any world in the multiverse, I don't think there's any world in which Kirby gets killed in the beginning of the movie and fans aren't disappointed. I think, fans, I think if they kill Kirby immediately, fans will revolt. I think that's one of the most disrespectful things you could possibly do. That would be a big sign of what would be to come throughout the rest of Scream 6, in my opinion. But, I just don't think that was ever going to be the case. I don't think, that was ever once going to happen, and it definitely isn't going to happen now. Now, whether the leak / rumor, whatever, of that Kirby would be, the opening attack, that people around her would die, but she would survive. So basically like a Sydney opening in 4, the original idea, the original concept for Scream 4's opening, they would do that with Kirby. That makes sense, I guess. I don't know if I need it to be completely reused, but that's fine if they do that, if the opening scene in Scream 6 is a really awesome scene with Kirby. She's got a boyfriend, she has friends around, whatever, and they get attacked, and they all die, and she gets badly injured. She kills Ghostface. She doesn't kill Ghostface, whatever, but she survives, and then she comes back later in the movie. Maybe there's a time skip, maybe there's not, whatever it happens to be. I'd be fine with that. It's a recycled concept. It's literally what it is. It would just be recycled from Scream 4. But to see it actually in front of us instead of reading it on a paper, right? Because that's all Kevin Williamson's like described how the scene would go. So we've got to see it in words how a scene like that would, but we haven't seen it. visually. So that would be something kind of cool. But it's a back and forth. It would be cool, but it's like you already had that idea. Again, for like doing something bold and different, well, I mean, I guess it's bold and different, but at the same time, it was an idea that was going to happen, until it didn't for Scream 4. So how bold are you really going for this movie if you're just reusing something that you were almost going to use for 4? I don't know. It's tough. It's very tough. We'll see what happens in the movie, but the idea that Kirby's going to die early, I don't think so. I don't want her to die at all. I think that would, I don't know, if she died at the very end, I wouldn't really call it disrespectful. I'd call it kind of bold. I'd say it would be Radio Silence being bold, but I don't know. I would prefer for her to live, but we'll see what happens. And we'll talk about it, obviously, much, much more as the weeks and months go on. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon turned on. If you want to follow or support me anywhere else, all my social media is in the description below. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one.